Hi, I invented the Xpresso Moka pot pump for use with Bialetti-style mocha pots, and this is our instructional video for the most basic use of the product. A word about mocha pots is that they're very familiar to people in Europe. They're designed to make stronger coffee, and you can make with pour-over methods, and they use finer grounds. But there's a flaw. The flaw is that they use boiling water in a sealed tank to create steam pressure to force that same boiling water through to brew the coffee. And that's the problem. Boiling water is much too hot. It scalds the coffee and takes away some of the finer, subtler flavors. So my product solves that by replacing the steam pressure with an air pump. It's not as pretty and elegant, but it allows you not only to not scald your coffee, but gives you the option of selecting the exact temperature you brew your coffee with. And that makes a big difference in the way the very same beans will taste. So here, without elaborating on a lot of details, I'll try to show you the most basic way to use the Moka pot espresso. Firstly, every Moka pot comes with a blow-off or pressure relief valve. Virtually everyone except Bialetti uses the same one. And they can be on there rather snugly. Use pliers or a wrench. Everyone except Bialetti's is 10 millimeters in diameter, and Bialetti's has been using an 11 millimeter part for the past several years. So my adapter, made out of silicone with ribs on the nose, will fit both sizes, and you simply thread it in as if it was a bolt. You only need to have about a millimeter of the nose protruding on the inside of the tank for a proper seal. In fact, blow-off valve is a safety feature, but it can be clogged and create dangerous amounts of pressure, whereas the silicone fixture will never stick strongly enough to create dangerous pressure. The stories behind that I won't get into in this video. The next crucial step is to fill the funnel. Now, however you do it, what I want to just point out is that here I am using store pre-ground coffee, and it's Melita or pour-over coarseness, which is called medium in professional jargon. It's actually coarser than you need or you really ideally want with the Moka pot. But in any case, it always should look kind of like that with that much extra. Because this is coarse and it won't pack so densely, I recommend that you tap it a few times. See how it's settled in more, and that way you can get more coffee grinds into the same charge. The fact is, most of the good stuff, or a large proportion of the good stuff that you want in your coffee, which is really caramelized sugar, is going to be locked inside these relatively large particles, and it will stay there, will not come out when you brew it. That's the motivation for using finer ground espresso grounds. Stovetop is its own grade. It's at least one step finer than pour-over or Melita or Chemex, but it's one step coarser than regular espresso that you would use in a regular cafe-style machine. And your baristas should be completely aware of that. If they're not, find someone who does, or go to another vendor of your coffee, because that's really something that any barista should know. The next step is simply to add your water, and this is another important issue about Moka pots. The proportion of these funnels in this dimension here and in the diameter is absolutely standardized. Every 6-cup Moka pot or 9-cup has the same dimensions of the funnel, no matter how the different shapes come out and will influence the depth of the spout. But in any case, that means that the amount of ground you get is absolutely universal. And the fact is, for a 6-cup Moka pot, they always make room for 300 milliliters of water, and you cannot get good 300 milliliters of good coffee out of that much ground. So I recommend if you really want a 6-cup or 300 milliliter cup of coffee in the morning from your Moka pot, you use, as I am doing right here, a 9-cup pot, which means that you have to learn how to measure out about 300 milliliters of hot water, or maybe 350 for just for extra, into what is otherwise a 500 milliliter tank. If you put the whole 500 milliliters through it, what you'll get is 300 milliliters of good coffee and 200 milliliters of water that was pushed through spent coffee grounds. And that will contaminate your coffee. You'll actually be familiar because probably every cup of coffee you've ever had is likely has some over-extracted beverage in it. So that's why I'm recommending that you, for 6 cups, you really need a 9-cup maker. With a 6-cup maker, you can only make about 200 milliliters of good coffee. After that, you simply assemble the system just like you would normally do. However, since you're using hot water, you have to be concerned with your hands. So I found a silicone jar gripper to hang on to it. So then, simply take the pump tube and have this snap-on connector that sneaks into place. Plug in the pump and turn it on. If you have the correct proportion of grounds in the funnel, it doesn't come out instantly. It takes a minute or two to develop pressure. You can overpack it and it will simply take a lot longer, and if you're impatient, of course, that will be considered to be a flaw. But if it comes out very quickly, you will essentially under-extract the beans and you will simply have watery coffee. I suggest really that what you want to use is ground coffee. So you either go to a bean vendor and have them grind it for you, or you break down and spend at least $175 for a burr grinder, not a blade grinder. Costs $20. I have videos that will explain the rationale behind that. So, once your coffee starts coming out, you'll notice that at the beginning it's much darker and much richer and much more flavorful looking, and that's what you want. The trick here, and to demonstrate why I'm advocating that you make much less coffee than your tank will hold, comes when we've extracted all the good caramelized sugar that we want, that we call coffee. And I'm suggesting that you soon do this little taste test ritual that I'm going to show you. As the coffee is brewing and you have a rough estimate, perhaps a little bit past the time when the entire bottom of the carafe is covered with liquid, pour it into your cup. Notice how strong and dense it is. Taste it. At this point, maybe it's too strong for you. So the main thing is to see it's very strong, and after you've swallowed it and give your palate a chance to process it, you can see whether it's bitter or not. It may be strong from the coffee, but it's different from bitter. So as we progressively continue to taste it like this, and at the point where it goes from having extracted all the caramelized sugar from the grounds, and it's only extracting bitter tannins and other things from the burnt cellulose, when you taste it, of course it will be weaker. It will not have as much of a strong, rich coffee flavor. The important thing is a few seconds after you swallow, that is when the bitter extractants will become very apparent in your mouth. That's the point at which you're not getting coffee anymore, you're just getting burnt cellulose extract beverage. You don't want to put that in your coffee. Other than that, you use the system the same way you regularly you're accustomed to using your Bialetti. I have lots of videos that will get into the fine points of making the perfect cup of coffee using a Moka pot. But this is the basic way to get started. Enjoy.